The Pittsburgh Steelers just shook the league, and nobody saw it coming. A veteran quarterback in black and gold walked into Week 1 with questions on his back and left the field with answers. The score was tight, the moments were loud, and yet the calmest person in the stadium was Aaron Rodgers. The shock is not that he won. The shock is how he did it. Fast reads, fearless throws, and a command that made the Jets' defense look a step late all night. Look at the story the numbers tell. Rodgers completed 22 of 30 for 244 yards, with 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and every one of those scores went to a different target. Ben Skowronek, Calvin Austin, Jonnu Smith, DK Metcalf. That is balanced through the air when the ground game was not there. Jaylen Warren sat at 3.4 yards a carry, Kenneth Gainwell at 2.7, and the rookie Caleb Johnson was hit for -2. Pittsburgh still put points on the board because Rodgers kept finding space, kept finding answers, and kept the offense moving even when the run stalled. But here is the twist that sets the tone for the whole season. This was not hero ball. This was design. The Steelers leaned into timing, motion, and play action that forced clean windows even when the Jets were sending heat. What nobody is talking about is how Arthur Smith built a plan that fit Rodgers like a glove, quick outs into pressure, crossers that punished over pursuit, simple looks that turned into big gains. If that structure is real and not a one-week mirage, it might change everything. Next, we will break down the exact concepts that made this passing attack explode. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Steelers and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 200 likes on this video. The Pittsburgh Steelers did not survive pressure. They invited it and turned it into free yards. The shocking part is the blueprint hid in plain sight. Motion pulled tells before the snap, then Rodgers hit the empty space the blitz left behind. When the nickel crept, the ball fired to the quick out with room to run. When the pocket tilted, the launch point shifted with a smooth boot, and Rodgers threw on the move like it was routine. This was speed of thought meeting a plan that rewarded it. Here is where the details flip the story. Back set the table in pass protection, Jaylen Warren met the edge and then leaked late on a wheel when linebackers overran the flat. Tight ends, sold, run, leaked to the flat, and dragged defenders just far enough to open the crosser behind them. A smokescreen to DK Metcalf punished a safety blitz and turned a short toss into a burst play. A fake crack toss set up a slot fade for Calvin Austin, safety steps forward, ball goes back shoulder, and the drive flips in a heartbeat. 5-man slide rules kept the front clean long enough for spacing routes to win, outs, stops, shallow crossers, each built to beat a different answer from the defense. What nobody is talking about is how repeatable that menu island. It does not need a perfect pocket, and it does not need a dominant run to work. It needs discipline and timing from the receivers who can stress leverage on command. That is where this gets scary for defenses, because the next layer is the players who turn smart design into breakaway plays. Up next, we break down how Calvin Austin and DK Metcalf fit this plan like a lock and key, and why their traits make simple concepts hit like explosives. The Pittsburgh Steelers just turned a good passing night into a warning to the rest of the league. Pick your poison. One receiver stretches the field with raw speed, the other bends coverage with size and power, and defenses cannot shade to both. The surprise is how fast they synced with Aaron Rodgers, because every snap felt like a choice the Jets could not win. Calvin Austin wins with burst and timing. He freezes a corner with a short pause, then explodes through a clean lane like a track runner off the blocks. He tracks the ball early, protects it late, and slips tackles with light feet that make tight windows look big. DK Metcalf wins in a different way, strong at the line, patient at the break, late hands at the catch so defenders never see it coming, then he turns short, throws into long gains with a punishing finish. Rodgers trusted both, throwing on time to space, not to names, and the result was rhythm that never felt forced. Here is why that matters going forward. When Austin threatens deep and Metcalf drags help to his side, safeties widen and linebackers hesitate, which opens the middle for everything else. But that edge only lasts if Pittsburgh keeps structure around it. A pocket that holds long enough for routes to mature and a ground attack that keeps defenders honest. Up next, we dig into the young offensive line and the missing run game, and why solving that piece is the key to keeping this passing surge alive. The Pittsburgh Steelers just sent a message through the air, yet the quiet truth sat at the line of scrimmage. The ball moved without a steady ground threat, and that is the kind of gap rivals circle in red. Defenses squeezed inside lanes, linebackers shot downhill, and Aaron Rodgers still found answers, but he also took 4 sacks. The result was a win that felt thrilling and risky at the same time, because the one piece that protects everything was the one piece that did not land. This is where timing and teamwork must grow fast. Broderick Jones needs cleaner handoffs on double teams. Mason McCormick and Zach Frazier have to climb to the second level with more control. Troy Fautanu must set the edge with better leverage, and Isaac Sumalo can steady the interior with veteran eyes. In pass protection, they solved enough to let the quick game fire, but in the run they lost the first step too often. When a drive starts with a stuff, you live in second and long, then third and obvious, and the whole plan shrinks to what the defense expects. Here is the hinge that could flip the season. If Pittsburgh builds a simple run menu that travels inside zone with patience, duo with firm doubles, pullers who actually find the fit, play action stays dangerous, and the pass rush slows down. If they do not, the offense will lean on Rodgers every week, and that strain will bleed into the other side of the ball. Up next, we turn to the defense with big names and bigger expectations, and the question that follows, can this group cover the margin while the line grows up? The Pittsburgh Steelers carry a reputation for defense, but Week 1 showed cracks that cannot be hidden by a close win. The scoreboard looked strong for the offense, yet the Jets piled up 182 rushing yards, a number that stings in a division where power football is the rule. The shock is that this weakness has been there before, against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in past seasons, and it resurfaced when it mattered least. This roster has proven stars, TJ Watt hunting off the edge, Alex Highsmith collapsing pockets, and Cameron Hayward anchoring the middle after his contract bump. Still, the front seven lacked rhythm. Gaps opened too wide, cutback lanes went untouched, and tackling angles broke down under pressure. Rookie Derek Harmon, drafted to strengthen the trenches, was sidelined with a leg injury, leaving the rotation thin. Without him, too much fell on the shoulders of veterans who cannot mask missed assignments on every snap. The real problem is not talent but consistency. In one quarter, the unit looked stout, then the very next drive saw holes ripped open again. Until the run fits tighten and the linebackers fill without hesitation, quarterbacks like Justin Fields will face easy downs and manageable throws. That is why the defense must evolve, because in the next section we uncover the moments where this same group flipped the script with turnovers and clutch stops, showing the ceiling is still high if they can lock in. The Pittsburgh Steelers swung the game with hidden but decisive plays, from a forced fumble on a Jets return to a chaotic tipped pass that DK Metcalf secured, setting up Chris Boswell's booming 60-yard field goal. Jalen Ramsey then sealed it with a clean hit on Garrett Wilson, while Darius Slay steadied after giving up an early deep ball. These flashes of aggression and control showed the secondary's depth and bought time for an offense still finding its ground game. Yet the Jets pushed back behind Justin Fields' sharp passing and mobility and Breece Hall's strong rushing, proving this contest was as much about their growth as Pittsburgh's breakthrough. Here is what decides it. First down success, fewer flags, and red zone answers when the field gets tight. If Pittsburgh finds even a steady run menu, play action keeps its bite, and the pass rush they face slows a step. If not, Seattle will dare Rodgers to do it again and load the box to choke timing. Your call now. Can the Steelers repeat this passing surge on the road? Do you trust the run defense to hold up against Walker and Charbonnet? Who is your X factor for this matchup? Drop your pick in the comments, hit like if you want deeper film breakdowns, and subscribe so you catch the next chapter as we track how this plan evolves.